Hello viewers, welcome to the digital class of Udayanath Autonomous College of Science and Technology. So viewers, today's class will be all about the transport layer of OSI model. So in our last videos, we have already discussed what is OSI model, what are the different layers of OSI model. We have already discussed briefly about the data link layer, its functions, its protocols, along with the network layer and its protocol and the functions and applications of network layer. So today's video will be all about the functions and working of a transport layer of OSI model. So today we will be discussing how transport layer works in the OSI model. So now we will moving to the slide, that is OSI model transport layer. So transport layer in computer networking, the transport layer or layer 4 provides end-to-end communication services for applications within a layered architecture of network components and protocols. That means transport layer is the layer 4 of OSI model and it provides end-to-end communication services. That means whenever the systems are connected, that means there must be an end-to-end system or point-to-point system, and this is transmitted through the transport layer. So it gives services for application within a layer architecture of network components. That means all the applications that are related to transport layer or communication, all the services are provided by the transport layer, and it also works within the layered architecture of network components and protocols. That means the components or the protocols associated with the network layer are also worked under the transport layer. So the transport layer provides convenient services such as connection oriented data stream support, reliability, flow control and multiplexing. So what are the services provided by the transport layer? So these are connection oriented data stream support. That means whenever we are going to transfer any data from one location to another or from end to end, at that time it provides a continuous data stream support. That means it helps to communicate or to transfer the data from one location to another location. Similarly, it provides reliability. That means we can rely on the transport layer to transfer the data from one location to another location. Similarly, the flow control defines the amount of flow or the data flow that is being controlled by the transport layer. And multiplexing, that means we have already discussed what is multiplexing. That means combining a lot of signals into one is known as your multiplexing. So the most well known transport protocol is the transmission control protocol. So the main protocol under the transport layer or the transport protocol is TCP, that is transport or transmission control protocol. So it lent its name to the title of the entire internet protocol suite, that is TCP IP. So TCP IP is the main protocol suite which has the special protocol, that is TCP, which is considered under the transport layer. So it is used for connection oriented transmissions. That means transport layer is actually used for connection oriented transmission. It is not for connectionless transmissions. Whereas the connectionless user datagram protocol is used for simpler messaging transmission. That means if we are connecting the transport layer under the connectionless transmission, then there is a concept known as user datagram protocol which is considered under the messaging transmissions. So similarly, the transport layer is responsible for delivering data to the appropriate application process on the host computer. That means it is also responsible for delivering the message or data that has been sent from the sender to the receiver. Similarly, this involves statistical multiplexing of data from different application processes. So it also helps in routing or in forming the router so that there will be a proper multiplexer to multiplex the data and send it to the proper destination, that is forming data packets and adding source and destination port numbers. So whenever we are using the transport layer, so it forms data packet. That means all the data will be in the form of data packets which are the source address along with the destination address, or we can say that they have the source port numbers along with the destination port number which are used to send the data from one location to another. And if there will be any mishappening within the transmission, then the same message will be delivered to the source address. So the packet consists of the source address along with the destination address. So the destination port numbers and source port number are in the header of each transport layer data packet. That means a packet consists of three parts, that is the sender address, then the data and the receiver address. So the source or the source address is the first part of data packet, then comes the data which is to be sent, and then the destination address is attached to the packets. So this is all about the transport layer and the transport layer protocol that are responsible for transmitting the data from one location to another in the OSI model. So you can see the image over here. This is the whole OSI model layer. That means the 7 layers are written over here from top to down. That is application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer and physical layer. So we have already discussed about the OSI model. That means from the sender side the layers will work from top to bottom, and from receiver side it will be from the bottom to top layer. So you can see that the application layer, presentation layer and session layer works at the software layers of OSI model. That means all the software related things will be considered under these 3 layers. Similarly, the last 3 layers, that is network layer, data link layer and physical layer, acts as the hardware layers of the OSI model. That means all the hardware components or the hardware representations will be under these 3 layers, that is network layer, data link layer and physical layer. And the last one is the heart of OSI, that is the transport layer. So in OSI model, transport layer plays a very vital role because it is considered as the heart of OSI, because it is the layer which is responsible for transmitting the data from one location to another. So it is the medium part, or it is the media through which the data are being sent. So any user will be in contact with the software layers and the hardware layers, but transport layer acts as the medium from the sender to the receiver. Similarly, you can see the image over here. I have also written the 7 layers of OSI model over here. You can see that the transport layer is used for segmentation. That means it is connected to the network. Again, the network is connected to the receiver's transport layer. So this is sender side, this is receiver side. So transport layer is used to connect to a network and it acts as the segmentation work. Similarly, it connects the network layer to the transport layer of OSI model, where it works as the reassembler. So what do you mean by segmentation? What do you mean by reassembly? That means whenever we are sending the data, any data or any amount of data from source to destination, at that point the whole data is broken up into number of packets, and this term is known as your segmentation. That means breaking up the whole data into smaller parts and into a number of packets is known as the segmentation. Similarly, when the network will deliver the data to the receiver, then the concept is known as reassembly, because the whole data that has been broken down into packets will be again reassembled and will be delivered to the transport layer of the receiver side. So transport layer works for segmentation and reassembly, where transport layer works for segmentation in the sender side and works for reassembler in the receiver side. So this is all about the transport layer that works at the sender and receiver, and it acts as the medium to transfer the data from one location to another location. Now we will be discussing about transmission control protocol, or TCP. So the transmission control protocol is one of the core protocols of the Internet Protocol Suite. That means the core protocols of Internet Protocol Suite is TCP. That means without transmission control protocol, the Internet Protocol Suite will not work, because TCP and IP combines together to send the information from one location to another location. Similarly, TCP is one of the 2 original components of the suite complementing the Internet Protocol. So we have already discussed that TCP and IP both combine with each other and send the information or data from one location to another. So it is also known as the complementary of Internet Protocol, and therefore the entire suite is commonly referred as TCP IP. So we have already discussed that wherever we are using the word TCP, IP is automatically added to it, because TCP and IP both combinedly work for transmitting the data from one location to another. That means the segmentation and reassembly is the combination of TCP and IP. So TCP provides reliable order delivery of a stream of octets from a program on one computer to another program on another computer. So why TCP is reliable? Because it provides the order delivery of stream of octets. That means whenever we are sending the data, it is in the form of octets. So whenever one program on one computer is sending the data, then it is being received by another program on another computer, and it follows the same stream of octets and receive the data. Similarly, TCP is the protocol used by major internet applications such as World Wide Web, email, remote administration and file transfer. That means whenever we are using any internet application, that may be WhatsApp, Facebook, or simply any web browser to access the internet, so TCP is the important protocol that acts as a major role in internet applications. We can also use it in World Wide Web, that means any application related to www. We are sending emails, so TCP also acts as the transport layer where the email has been sent. Similarly, remote administration, that means whenever you are using the internet facilities under a remote area or a limited area, at that time also TCP is used. And the main important factor of TCP is the file transfer. That means whenever we are attaching any file and sending it, so it is also carried out by the TCP. Now the another protocol complement to TCP is internet protocol, that is IP. The internet protocol is the principal communication protocol used for relaying datagrams. So datagrams are also known as your network packets across an inter-network using the internet protocol suite. So internet protocol suite is the suite in which there are two protocols, that is TCP and IP. So IP plays the principal communication protocol that are used for relaying the datagrams. So datagrams means it is the alternative for network packets that are used for transmitting the data from one location to another network. So similarly it works at the inter-network. That means it is not necessary that we will be using it in the internet applications only, we can use it in inter-network or LAN connections also. So it is also responsible for routing packets across the network boundaries. That means IP is responsible for routing the packets. That means all the router and routing table will be under the control of IP across different network boundaries. That means it may be wired network or it may be wireless network. So all the network boundaries are considered under the IP protocol. So it is the primary protocol that establishes the internet. That means without the internet protocol there will be no internet connection. That means it is the only protocol or it is the primary protocol that are actually used to establish the internet network or the internet connection over a system. So IP is the primary protocol in the internet layer of the internet protocol suite and has the task of delivering datagram from source host to the destination host solely based on the addresses. That means IP is the only protocol that is responsible in the internet protocol suite, that is giving the internet connection and transmitting the data, or we can consider as datagrams, which are the alternative for network packets from the sender side to the destination side. So it is also responsible for giving the addresses or setting the addresses that are being used for transmitting the data or collecting the addresses to give in the packets. So datagram is the alternative from network packets where there are source address and destination address, and all the addresses are actually given by the IP, that is internet protocol. So it is the principal communication protocol that are being used in the internet protocol suite. Similarly, you can see the image over here. This is the TCP IP model and this is the OSI model. That means we can go for any model according to the requirement. So these are the OSI model, which are the basic model for transmitting the data, but there is a TCP model also where TCP IP plays the vital role. That means you can see over here that the application layer of TCP IP model works for three layers of OSI model, that is application layer, presentation layer and session layer. That means in OSI model there are three layers, but the combination or the work of all these three layers are carried out by one layer, that is application layer of TCP IP. That means application layer of TCP IP works for these protocols, that is HTTP, FTTP, Telnet, NTP, DHCP and ping. So these are the protocols which are used in the application layer of TCP IP model in place of application layer, presentation layer and session layer of OSI model. Similarly, we have a transport layer which works independently and has two protocols, that is TCP and UDP, which is similar to the transport layer of OSI model. Similarly, we have a network model of TCP IP model where we have the protocols as IP, ARP, ICMP, IGMP, which is the replacement for network layer of OSI model. And we have finally the network interface, which acts as the work, or it is the alternative of data link layer and physical layer of OSI model. So it is done by the Ethernet. So you can see over here that this is the TCP/IP model and this is the OSI model. You can see that there are 7 layers of OSI model, whereas there are only 4 layers of TCP/IP model, and these 4 layers of TCP/IP model are an alternate for 7 layers of OSI model, and all these protocols work independently on different layers of TCP/IP model along with OSI model. So whenever a TCP/IP model will try to be compatible with OSI model, in those places these protocol will actually make compatible between the TCP model and OSI model, or the TCP/IP model system with the OSI model system. So in this way all these layers of TCP/IP model get compatibility with the OSI model through these protocols. So application layer is the replacement of application presentation and session layer of OSI model. Transport layer and network layer remains the same as compared to OSI model, and the final layer or the innermost layer, that is network interface, works as the alternate for data link layer and physical layer through the Ethernet. So these are all about TCP/IP model and OSI models. Similarly, now we will be moving to transport layer protocols. So the transport layer is represented by 2 protocols, that is TCP and UDP. So TCP and UDP means user datagram protocol and transmission control protocol. The IP protocol in the network layer delivers a datagram for source host to the destination host. That means the IP protocol in the network layer is actually responsible for delivering the packets or datagram from the source to the destination. So nowadays the operating system supports multi-user and multi-processing environments and executing program called as process. So the operating system acts as the software part, which is the background of transport layer protocol, which supports the multi-user and multi-processing environments. That means the multi-user facility of the operating system and the multi-processing facility of operating system is actually supported by the transport layer protocol, and the process is and the executing program is called as the process. So when a host sends a message to other host, means that source process is sending a process to the destination process. That means whenever we are sending, or a user is sending message to another destination, at that place the source process is sending to the destination process. The transport layer protocol defines some connection to individual port known as protocol ports. So whenever the transport layer protocol acts or it gets activated when the data is being sent, at that time the individual ports are called as the protocol ports. Now we will be moving to user datagram protocol. So what do you mean by UDP? That is the one of the 2 most important protocols of transport layer. So that is UDP. So UDP stands for user datagram protocol. So user datagram is actually referenced as the data packets. So UDP is a simple protocol and it provides non-sequence transport functionality. That means UDP is actually a protocol that is used for connectionless transport functionality. That means wherever there is no connection or there is a connectionless system, at that time UDP plays the role. So UDP is a connectionless protocol. So as we have discussed, there are 2 types of protocols, that is connection oriented protocol and connectionless protocol. So TCP acts at the connection oriented protocol, whereas UDP acts at the connectionless protocol. So this type of protocol is used when reliability and security are less important than speed and size. So where there is less utilization of reliability and security, but we are more concerned about speed and size of the network, at that time we use this type of protocol. That means user datagram protocol is not reliable and not securable as compared to connection oriented protocol or TCP. But whenever there is a need of speed and size, at that time we refer to UDP rather than TCP. So UDP is an end-to-end transport level protocol that adds transport level addresses, checksum error control and length information to the data from the upper layer. So it acts at the end-to-end transport level. That means whenever the transport protocol is activated to transport the data from one location to another, so UDP plays a role where it adds the transport level addresses, that means the source and destination addresses. Similarly, if there will be any error, then it can be controlled by checksum error control, and the length of the information of the data that is being sent from the source to the destination. The packet produced by the UDP protocol is also known as user datagram. That means the packets or the alternate of packets are known as the user datagram in case of UDP. So these are all about the transport layer, its functions, all the layers or protocols associated with transport layer, that is TCP and UDP. So I hope you have understood what is the work of transport layer and the protocols associated with the transport layer of OSI model. If you have any doubt, you can comment me on our YouTube channel. Till then, thank you.